Imagine a world not of myths, but of reality. A world shrouded in mist, where towering ice sheets carved mountains and ancient jungles whispered secrets of survival. It is 100,000 years ago, the prehistoric dawn of our kind. Small groups of wanderers, barefoot and curious, dared to cross treacherous seas on wooden rafts. They weren't explorers by choice. Hunger, storms, and the need for survival pushed them forward. But what they discovered was more than new lands. It was other humans, not Homo sapiens, not Neanderthals. Instead, a mysterious shadow of our past, the Denisovans. And tonight, we're going to uncover their lost story. Before we proceed, let's take a step back to understand the world they lived in. A tale not just of bones and fossils, but of bloodlines and survival. By the end, you won't see humanity as a single line of progress, but as a web of encounters, a mosaic of intermingling, and a saga of shared destiny. The Earth, 100,000 years ago, was a place of extremes. Glaciers trapped oceans, lowering sea levels and revealing vast land bridges. Asia, Australia, and the islands of the Pacific weren't separated as they are today. This was a world alive with possibility and danger. Volcanoes erupted, rivers flooded, predators hunted. And scattered across continents, many human-like beings lived alongside one another. Homo erectus, the fire masters of Java, was still clinging to survival. Homo floresiensis, also known as the hobbits of Flores, was a tiny yet resourceful species. Neanderthals, our muscular cousins in Europe and West Asia. And finally, the mysterious Denisovans, whose presence would only be revealed tens of thousands of years later. Let's fast forward from prehistory to a pivotal moment in modern science. The year is 2008. In a Siberian cave deep in the Altai Mountains, scientists uncover something small. Not a skull, not a jaw, but a fragment, a single pinky bone of a young girl. At first glance, it seemed unremarkable. But when scientists sequenced its DNA, the results stunned the world. This was not a Neanderthal, not a Homo sapiens, but something entirely new. They named them Denisovans. From that tiny bone, a lost world began to unfold. A world where multiple human species shared the Earth at the same time. This was not a straight ladder of progress. Humanity's story is a tangled web of survival and connection. Unlike Neanderthals, who left behind caves full of tools and skeletons, Denisovans are ghosts. Almost no bones, no villages, no art. Only whispers in our DNA. But those whispers tell an incredible story. They show Denisovans weren't trapped in Siberia. They spread across Asia, into the tropics, even to the edges of the Pacific. In modern Papua New Guinea, Australia, and Southeast Asia, people carry up to 4 to 6% Denisovan DNA. This means our ancestors didn't just fight or avoid them. They met them, lived with them, and had children with them. Around 70,000 years ago, Homo sapiens embarked on great migrations, leaving Africa. Through deserts and coasts, they crossed into the lands of Neanderthals, and soon after, Denisovans. With Neanderthals, they exchanged approximately 1 to 2% of their DNA, which is found today in almost all non-Africans. With Denisovans, the mixing was more complex, with some encounters occurring in Siberia and others deep in Southeast Asia. The result? Whole populations in Oceania today carry Denisovan genes that help with immunity, metabolism, and even survival in extreme climates. One example stands out. The Sherpas of Tibet are known for thriving at deadly high altitudes. Their secret? A Denisovan gene, the EPAS1 variant, allows their blood to carry oxygen more efficiently. Without Denisovans, climbing Everest might be nearly impossible. However, as we trace the Denisovan legacy, we must remember that Denisovans were not alone. In the islands of Southeast Asia, other hominins thrived. Homo floresiensis in Indonesia was just a meter tall but capable of hunting giant rats and tiny elephants. Homo luzonensis in the Philippines, with curved fingers suited for climbing trees. The region was a prehistoric crossroad, and Denisovans may have interbred with these groups or replaced them. Sadly, the tropical climate dissolved most of their bones, leaving only fragments of teeth and hints in our DNA. Imagine for a moment, you are a Homo sapiens family arriving on a strange island. By the firelight, you see faces familiar yet different, not quite like you, not quite like Neanderthals, but something else. What would you do? Trade? Fight? Intermarry? Our genes suggest all of the above. Now, another mystery emerges. One of the greatest puzzles comes from Java, the Ngandong skulls. Discovered along the Solo River, these fossils date to 117,000 years ago. Their features are unusual. They have larger brains than Homo erectus, yet they remain archaic. Could they be Denisovans, or hybrids of Denisovans and Homo erectus? Some scientists believe so. If true, it means Denisovans weren't just one group, but many subpopulations across Asia. Some adapted to icy Siberia. Others thrived in tropical forests. This diversity explains why modern DNA shows multiple waves of Denisovan ancestry. One from the north, one from the south. As we approach the end of their known story, one question remains. What happened to Denisovans? Why did they vanish, leaving only fragments and whispers? Perhaps climate change, shrinking habitats, or competition with Homo sapiens pushed them to extinction. However, extinction is not the correct term, because Denisovans are not gone. They live on in us. Eastern Tibetans who climb the Himalayas. In Papuans who dive into the sea with enlarged spleens, a Denisovan trait for oxygen storage is evident. In immune systems across Asia and Oceania, there are ancient defenses against prehistoric diseases. They may have disappeared in body, but in spirit, they endure. Stepping back, the discovery of Denisovans shattered the old myth of human evolution. For centuries, we pictured it as a ladder, ape, primitive human, modern human, but the truth is far richer. Prehistory was a web of connections, a dance of species meeting, mixing and adapting. Neanderthals gave us strength. Denisovans gave us resilience. Sapiens brought imagination and art. Together, they forged what we are today. So next time you look in the mirror, remember, you are not just Homo sapiens. You are a part Neanderthal. You are part Denisovan. Part of a greater story written in fire, stone, and blood. Our ancestors survived not by isolation, but by connection. And in this shared heritage lies a central truth. Humanity's greatest strength is its diversity, woven through every encounter and connection across time. In the bones of the past lies the unity of our future.